Welcome to Beyond the Glow, a Clear Essence skincare podcast, your go-to source for radiant, healthy skin. At Clear Essence, we specialize in scientifically formulated skincare designed for melanin-rich skin, tackling concerns like hyperpigmentation, acne, and uneven tone. Stay tuned as we share expert tips, product spotlights, and real skincare solutions. Welcome to another episode of the Clear Essence podcast. We're so glad to have you here once again. On today's episode, we have Miss Ifeoma. She's the manager of the Clear Essence Nigeria online store, and she knows a lot about that market, a lot about Clear Essence, a lot about skincare in general. So I'm so excited to hear what she has to say today. Welcome, Miss Ifeoma. So glad to have you.
Thank you so much, Darren. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. I've been trying to get you on now for weeks. So I'm so excited that we finally made it happen.
Yes,
So
thank
just a
you.
little bit about yourself. I'd love if you can kind of introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a bit about, the market that you serve.
Right. Okay. So I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. I have been in one way or the other in around the Clear Essence brand for since 2000. Oh my goodness, since 2005. That means it's 20 years. So anyway, I've been in around the Clear Essence brand for a while. At the very beginning, what we did was to try and set up like a merchandising thing. That was when I first joined. So we were involved in putting up little pop-up stores in strategic supermarkets in Lagos. We had one in the Park and Shop, which is now called the Spa. We started the sale in Med Plus, a very well-known pharmacy. We had one in Nail Studio, just strategic. I did that for a while. And as you say, yes, now I'm running the online store for Clear Essence products.
Amazing. And 20 years, I'm like, that is such a long time, so much experience, I can imagine.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Over the years, what would you say are the kind of skincare products that your customers are most drawn to? Or you know what, actually, let's not go too far back. What are they most drawn to right now?
In my language, or I think in general African parlance, you see the food before you eat it. So you have to appreciate the outward covering of whatever it is that you're presenting. So skincare is key, generally to male and female, but obviously more for women. And I think because trends evolve, and because social media has kind of like exploded, I think anything that appears to work is what people are drawn to. So people tend to be very faddy. They'll have their base products, but whatever is in the vogue at the time is what they'll be drawn to. So the latest buzzwords kind of have been your azelaic acid, the niacinamides, the hyaluronics, the kojic retinol, all that kind of stuff, so everybody's checking to see, does it have it in it? So generally speaking, I would say skincare is big, is huge, but because people want to move with the trends, and because there is a lot more information as to what this does and what this doesn't do, people are, veer towards whatever is trending, whatever is on vogue at the time. And right now, it's those elements that I just cited.
Yeah, I guess on that note, it's not that much different from, say, the way the consumer behaves in other markets. Everything is so trend driven now, and because we're also online, I think every industry almost feels like it's affected by social media and the rise of influencers and trends and all of that.
Absolutely. It's the human condition, isn't it? I mean, whether you're in Kazakhstan, Nigeria, Azerbaijan, Kathmandu, we're all humans. We're all drawn essentially to the same thing. We want to look beautiful. We want to feel good about ourselves. And, with the, multiplicity of information, you tap into it, don't you? And you just want to feel like you're among those that are doing whatever it is that people say works.
And you know what? I've never thought about it that way. I actually haven't. I guess it is very natural, that inclination to like go where feels like the right path, I
Sure,
guess. I in my
sure.
head I'm like, "Oh, I'm just so susceptible. Like tell me to buy something, I'm there." Like I'm just, but it makes
Well,
sense where it's like it comes from a deeper place of sort of not
absolutely.
wanting to be left behind or,
Sure.
wanting to feel like you're doing your best.
Sure. Why do you think people spend so much in adverts? They've seen that it
Mm,
works. They get in your head, whether it's a jingle, whether it's a catchphrase, whether it's a pretty young lady like yourself,
mm,
on the
mm.
screen showcasing something. And, this is it. They get in your heads and, it's how to get
Mm,
out of your head. And, that once they've got you, they've
mm,
got you. What makes it work, what
mm,
makes the adverts all the more effective is if you have a product like Clarissense, that does work. That is a winning product.
mm,
And then so you do the right bit of advertising and then you get them, to buy into whatever it is you're selling. And because the product works, then you've got them hook, line, and sinker. And that's when it's nice. That's when
yes,
there's a joy in
yes,
advertising. You've got the right
yes.
product and you do the right bit of a campaign for it and you're off.
Yeah, oh, I couldn't agree more with that. I couldn't agree more because there's just so much. There's so much going on, so much noise. When you feel like, you know what, I believe in this product. This product works.
Sure.
This product, it makes it all the more like worth it at the end of the day, where it's when I win, the customer wins as well, you know? So
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. Would you say customers are a little bit more ingredient conscious now than before? I know you had mentioned like, niacinamide, azelaic acid. There people these trending ingredients just keep coming up. And
Yeah.
thinking of before years ago, I don't remember being so ingredient conscious as we are now.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the same in the Nigerian market?
Most
Yeah.
definitely. Most
Mm,
definitely. And it is again as a result, I would say, of the plethora of information that's
mm,
available to us now. So
mm,
people want to appear. And again, there are layers, there are strata of
mm.
customers. So you have your hyper informed customer who's going to literally read every item there is on the bottle. And then
Yeah.
you have, the person that just wants to see that it's got, oh, they say hyaluronic works. Does it have it on it? Right, I'm
Yes.
getting it. And then
Right.
you have, the not so informed customer who just says, does it work? Will it turn my skin? And then I'll go for it. So it's knowing which kind of customer you're catering for. But to your
Mm,
question, are consumers more ingredient oriented? Most definitely. The short answer
mm.
would be yes. Yes, they want to know
Yeah.
what it is they're putting on their skin. They want to know what it is you've told them it can do, and they want to see it work for them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because there's a plethora of so much information going out there, there is this space for a lot of misconceptions and misinformation to easily spread online and just in the skincare market in general. What would you say are some of the most common top of mind misconceptions about skincare that are most common in your
Right,
market?
right. In our market, I would say from my experience, and this is a very kind of like restricted experience to me. I
Mm,
wouldn't, but one of the misconceptions is if something says they'll tone my skin and I don't see a visible difference in a week, it means it's not a good product, because here, in our market, there's a lot of unregulated products that come in, right? So
mm,
we're competing with products that come in from Francophone Africa, for example.
mm,
They'll brandish a picture of a carrot on it or something, and they'll say, and then they're telling you, difference in 3 days. And literally,
mm,
maybe there is a difference. I don't know. I've never used any of them. But you then find that because there's so many of such in
mm,
the market, when you have a regulated product, and this would be for the new the Clarissense user that you want to introduce to it, not the loyalists. There are, Clarissense does have a wide loyal followership. I mean, it does have a good followership of loyal users. So not them. If for new users that you're trying to, a misconception most definitely would be, because I don't see it work in a week, it means it's not good. Sometimes that wrapping their head around the fact that it's a regulated product, it's a product that is formulated with care, especially for a type of skin. It's gonna take a while before you see the difference. That is one of the misconceptions. Another misconception from my experience, again, is that certain products darken. Like we have in the Clarissense SKUs, one of the products we have is an olive oil soap and an olive oil lotion. So generally people say, I don't want that, it darkens my skin. Well, it doesn't, but that's a misconception. What I've found from experience and use is that those who have a darker skin hue, the olive oil tends to enhance the luster, the sheen of their skin. It tends to, lend a more kind of like ebony beauty to their skin, right? So I literally did the experience. There were two products. I had the olive oil lotion and the smoothing lotion. So it's my Natural Beauty Skincare olive oil lotion and my Natural Beauty Skincare smoothing lotion. And a light-skinned lady, I gave the smoothing lotion, and a darker skinned lady, I asked to use the olive oil lotion. And both of them swore by each of the products. The darker skinned one nothing would convince her to use anything but the olive oil lotion, because it brought out a sheen that was just beautiful on her skin. So, but if you see that and then you say that means that olive oil darkens, well, no, it's a misconception. It doesn't darken. And then another misconception, probably a bit stretched in this market, because people just will go for all sorts. But once in a while, you do hear people say, if it has hydroquinone, then it's carcinogenic, then I don't want it. Then you're having to explain to them that, there is a regulated amount of this product in it. And this product can actually, pharmacists, dermatologists recommend it. You just have to know how you use it within the required, the specified, what's the word I'm looking for? Prescription, and it will be fine for you. So just briefly, that's it. And then another, I don't know if it's a misconception or a malpractice. They'll say, well, if this does this and this does that, and I want this, well, let me mix them. So you see, they'll get a bit of the serum, the eye serum, then they're getting a bit of this and a bit, and then they're mixing it, and then they're making one almighty concoction that they say, this is my go-to cream, and you're trying to tell them no. But so these are the things we've found from our experience interacting with our consumers that happen.
Wow. Like, have you found it quite challenging to educate consumers about, the products and what is and isn't true?
Challenging maybe, but very enjoyable, because people want to be informed. People want you to interact with them. I haven't done it so much now, but I do remember a while back, I used to go to universities, and we used to have road shows, and we would have, the Clarissense product, and there'd be music, and we'd have our literature, and then you would talk to them, and they would come up to you. And then sometimes we'd go to stores And I don't do so
Mm.
much of that now. I should probably, but I haven't done that in a while. To go up to stores and then just stand by the product and then just say, I notice you're picking this. Why don't you try this? And they'll say, because they see that, and then you say no. So yeah, I mean, it's challenging to the extent that it's challenging to go up to anybody and talk to them anyway and
Mm.
try to convince them. But it's ultimately very rewarding because
Right.
even if it's one person or two in a day of
Mm.
this sort of interaction that you convince to use the product, or you convince that no, this is not fake, this is not an
Mm.
adulterated one, no, this is, look at the bottle, that you can tell it's, this is, just,
Yeah.
it's very rewarding. It's very
Yeah.
rewarding.
I can imagine. Yeah, that's incredible. I can imagine it's like being able to actually educate people in real life.
Yes,
And
yes, in real
yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
it's yeah, it is. It's and even the storekeepers, once in a while they will ask you,
yeah.
if somebody comes up to me, what should I say? And that's also another,
Mm,
a nice good engagement
yeah,
avenue, because you see a desire on their part to know
mm,
more about what it is they're
yeah,
selling. So that's
yeah,
also gratifying in a way. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, I know you kind of mentioned a little bit of the My Natural Skincare line from Clear Essence, but are there any specific Clear Essence products that you found perform really well
Oh yeah. I
for your
mean,
market?
the bestseller of all time and continues to be is the Skin Beautifying Milk Maxi
Oh,
Tone, the
yes.
platinum Skin Beautifying
Yeah.
Milk Maxi Tone. The medicated face cream with sunscreen also does extremely well, and
Mm,
the complexion soap with alpha hydroxy acid. So that would be the triumvirate.
nice.
That's the triumvirate of the three musketeers of Claire Essence Wonder, I would say those are the fastest selling products. And
That, why
you
do you
you
think that
bring
is?
um good question. They work.
Yeah.
They're very effective. I think they were the earliest ones that came into the
Mm,
market. So because people are loyal, brand
mm,
loyal, these are the ones that came in. These are the ones that work for me. So, if it ain't broke, why fix it, kind of thing.
true.
So
Yeah.
all the other ones will come and in and around, and
Mm,
they'll dabble into it, they'll sample it, and
mm,
but people will always go back to these three,
mm.
generally
That
speaking.
makes
And
sense.
the medicated soap with exfoliants also does well as well.
Yeah. In your experience, would you say that you notice a difference in skincare needs or skincare trends between your urban consumer and your more rural based consumer?
That's an interesting question. Um, and I have traveled quite a bit. And I would say, yes, there is a difference. The consumer in Lagos will spend a lot more,
Mm,
buy a greater variety of the products. I think this might be as a result of the fact that there's more sophistication
mm,
in the urban environment. The earning power is greater, so they can afford um, to diversify and use the full gamut. For example, the Clear Essence will preach your cleanse, moisturize, treat. Somebody
mm.
in the urban area will be more willing and more able to do that than someone in the
Yeah.
rural area. But I think also gods, the cosmic powers that be, have a way of balancing things, because I think the those in the rural areas eat more natural, more organic foods.
Yeah.
The pollution is not as much as
Mm,
in the urban areas. So even though they don't earn as much, even though they're not using a greater variety of the products, I think their skin is just as beautiful because they're eating
mm.
better. They're not as
Mm,
stressed. They're not, getting home at stupid o'clock and having to wake up at stupid o'clock to get to work. And so I
yeah.
think, that there's a balance somehow.
Yes.
They might not be using all these other things like we do in Lagos, but because the stress is not there and the environment is somewhat better, less polluted, maybe they don't need to. Their skins are
Mm,
their skins are fine just as it is.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's like more of like a holistic lifestyle. And so they might not have
Absolutely.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they will. We do have people that request it. They do, buy it, but it's not as frequent. They will
Yeah.
string it out as much as they can because they can't afford to. But like
Mm,
I say, ultimately, they probably don't need to. Their food is
mm,
fresher, their environment is cleaner, and they're not as
hmm.
stressed.
Yeah. You have 20 plus years of experience in skincare. What would you say you've noticed that the consumers don't love when brands do?
Well, I can only really speak to the Clarissen's brand and the
Yeah.
feedback that I've
Mm,
gotten. They don't like it when you change the packaging. I don't know
mm,
why. I like new
mm,
packages because for me it's nice and hunky dory and dandy and fine. But in the
mm.
Nigerian market, a change of packaging means I don't know what it says about us as a people because
Yeah.
they're suspicious. They're like, are you changing it? Are
Mm,
you changing the package because you're changing the consistency, the ingredients? Are
yeah.
you watering it down? That's why you want to zhuzh it up with a new package. We
Mm,
get that a lot. So whenever it is a package's change, we need to ramp it up with lots of adverts, lots of showing this is still Clear Essence, it's still the original, there's nothing changed, the product is still the same, the consistency is as it was, we're
yeah.
not trying to hoodwink you. They don't like
Yeah.
that. And another thing our consumers don't use for whatever reason is products in the tube. There was a time we thought that one of the
Mm,
products, I forget which one now, was put in a tube. They just don't like tubes. I don't know. So these things that you press,
interesting.
yeah. And I haven't gotten a reason, an empirical reason as to why. I haven't done
Yeah.
a proper research, but I know that they don't like tubes. Don't put my
Yes.
product in a tube. It's not going to work.
Mm,
Opening it and pressing it out. No, we don't like that here.
mm.
I think
That's
there was an
so
SPF.
interesting.
Yeah, I think it was an SPF brand that was put in it. It didn't sell here at all. It didn't, we just couldn't, we like our things in bottles. Put it in a bottle.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm gonna have to pass that on to our product team. Noted.
Yeah.
How do you feel like the climate or the environment in Nigeria influences skincare needs or skincare routines?
That's a good question. The first thing is water-based products
Mm,
probably work better here because they're lighter on the skin because it's that
mm,
hot.
yeah.
People tend to use their treatment like products in the night because they don't want to
Mm,
get burnt. They're going out and,
mm,
it can be really uncomfortable. You've put your whatever heavy cream, whatever it is that's for a
yeah.
treatment, and then you're going out in the sun and there's a risk that you could get sunburn. Um, the size of the bottle, I think also
Mm,
people tend not to want to go for the really big
yeah.
receptacle because it's so hot here. You open it, chances are it will
Mm.
denature faster than if you were in another clime, for example.
Obviously, you're out in the sun. You don't want anything too thick or too heavy that makes you feel
Yeah,
like you have something on your face.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the lighter, the better. No, that
yeah,
makes complete
yeah,
sense.
yes.
Like we're for us at Claire Essence, we're always trying to kind of find more ways to educate our consumers and our skincare markets in general, just because there, like we said, there's so much misinformation that goes out. And at the end of the day, people just want to have better skin, right? Even the
Sure.
people that are spreading this, they might think what they think is true and it's not. So really it's like to everyone's benefit to be better informed in general. What would you like to see more from brands that want to support not
Um,
only retailers but customers in Nigeria?
Advert support, I think.
Mm,
Um, I'm just thinking how practical that, I mean, I say that, but how practical is it? Somebody
Mm,
sat somewhere in America. But I think if there were to be uh, a structured distributorship,
mm,
right? Then you could educate at that level so that the distributors would then be mandated to carry out workshops once in a while. And,
mm.
talking to you, I had forgotten that there was a time I was going around universities and do so that kind of
Yeah,
thing is quite effective. But we don't even really need to, push the boat out in that way. There are with social media now, you could organize
yes,
webinars, you could do webinars, you could have
yes.
educated, well-spoken influencers that could come up
Mm,
at certain times and do little shorts as they call them on the product, and just that would be a way to disseminate this. But I think definitely it would not harm us to reach out in this
yeah,
way through more adverts,
yeah,
more literature, although people don't really read much these days, but
yeah.
just catchy little short um, postcard like things
Mm-hmm.
of it. And then maybe if as you establish this structured distributorship, have little promo items that you
Mm,
you ensure that the distributors have so that they can give away to
yes,
faithful and returning clientele. That
yeah,
way, it shows you care. It shows another product maybe that I'm not using, but in a
right.
bottle,
Yeah,
so
like
I
a
can try
tester.
like a
Yeah.
tester. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something like that, I think, could also send the message home and widen the net a bit. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It like what advice would you give someone entering the retail or distribution space in Nigeria? This is a sort of education aside. Like if I was a new brand or new um company coming in, what advice would you say?
Well, it's gird your loins. It's gonna take a
Mm,
while. It will take a
mm.
while to penetrate, most definitely, because Nigeria is a demon, is a beast of a nation. It's so big,
Yeah.
and there's so much. So gird your loins about you. Make sure
Yeah.
you have a winning product so that you're not going against the grain and making it an
Yeah.
even more of an uphill task. And be sure of the mode of distribution and who your distributors will be, because
Yeah.
once something works, there's a fighting
Yes.
chance somebody's going to wake up in one corner, someone says, hello, I like a bit
Mm.
of that, so
Mm-hmm.
want to be sure that you guard against that,
Yeah.
as best you can. And for the first, I don't know how many number of years, I would say try and have as much of an interface as possible with
Mm.
the end user as much as possible,
Yeah.
because people really like this interactive way of selling. People like
Yeah.
that you care about them and that you're really into how your product works. So
Yeah.
try and get a feedback mechanism going on as much as possible so that you're
Yeah.
hearing direct from the end user. Have a dedicated email address where you
Mm.
encourage people to give you feedback and tell you about what the experience, and have someone that responds, because it
Mm.
makes people feel good that
Yeah.
you answered, you replied to my
Yeah.
message, you picked the
Yeah.
phone, and yeah, these because I mean the competition is rife, so
Yes.
so
Exactly.
needs to find something that sets you apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think kindness,
Mm.
the human touch, you can't really ever
Yes.
go wrong with that. when Claire Essence will tell you, skincare for people of color,
Yeah.
and then the
Mm,
names of their products are Dure, Chime.
mm,
This clearly, this is
mm,
a product that cares about people. This is a product that
mm-hmm,
is in touch, is ingrained in some sort of
mm,
belief system, has its roots somewhere. That resonates with people. People like that.
yeah. Oh, I love that actually gave me chills, you know. It's so true. It's so, so true. I would love to know what is one product that you personally swear by.
Blemish control, the control blemish wash.
Nice.
I have oily skin. I find that when I use that, it does it keeps the oil at bay, and it makes my skin feel good thereafter. Boom
I
boom.
mean, that's one product I haven't tried that one, so I
All
might have
right.
to pick it up. I
Yes, try it.
might
Try
have to pick it up.
if you've got oily skin or
Yeah.
acne prone skin, it is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Thank you so, so much, Miss Ifeoma. This has been really, really cool. Such an amazing conversation. I know
My
people would
pleasure.
love this conversation. So thank you so much
Well,
and speak to you soon.
yes, yes. Thank you for having me on, and it was a pleasure to come on. Thank you so much, Dara, and I wish you all the
Of
best.
course. Thank you. Hold on a second. I have a special discount for you all. Use code WAND, that is WAND, to buy one, get one free on our exclusive brightening wand. And if you didn't know, our products are now available on Jumia, Nigeria, and Konga. That's it for today's episode. Remember, healthy skin starts with the right product. Explore our full skincare collection at clairessence.com and use our store locator to find Clear Essence near you. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more skincare insights. Until next time, keep glowing with Clear Essence.